Well, I think it's been a really, overall, very good year for us, particularly the spring. We didn't play that well at SECs, but it's a little bit, of a misconceiving situation down there when you've got 11 teams basically in the top 30 in the country, and we were in the golf tournament through half of the event, through 27 holes, and didn't play well the back nine the second day. I think we're all a little bit stinging from that, but I think when you take everything into account, how we played this spring and how we've developed some of our younger guys, Keenan Husky and Scott Stevens, I think you got to be real excited not only about the prospects of how we look going into the postseason, but also for how the team looks going forward for the next couple of years. So I'm very pleased as a coach. I got three incredible seniors in Sean Kelly and Will Starke and Matt Neesmith, and they're like sons to me. I'm going to miss them, and I want them to go out on a really good note. And I think that in some ways maybe the SEC was a little bit of a wake up call for us, in that we got to bring a little bit more intensity and a little bit more preparation to it, and I think these guys will get ready for regionals.
Staying with that, with the seniors, how special, and adding Sean to that mix as well, how special is this group going forward? When you look back on this group, how fondly will you look back at them?
Well, it's it's such a long relationship you have with kids like this. I mean, we started recruiting Matt when he was in 8th grade. Sean's dad and I were talking the other night about how 6-7 years ago they were here for the Florida game, and he committed right after that. Tebow was playing. And so I get chills when I think about all this, just because it really Will ended up being here because one of my kids that was currently on the team when we were recruiting Will decided not to come back for a 5th year, and it opened up a spot for him. I didn't even have a spot for him at one point. So a lot of things have all come together. They've worked really hard. They've been academic All-Americans as well as doing extremely well on the golf course. They're a lot of fun to work with, to travel with. We're very in the golf in college golf. You're very intimate with your team in the sense of how you travel together and the amount of time you spend with each other. So it's just been, as a coach, it's been a very enjoyable experience all the way back to when we first started recruiting them.
For both you guys, spoke to Sean earlier this week, and he's enjoying that sweet mustache that he's grown. I guess for both of you, are there team superstitions? Do individuals have superstitions on the team, and any that you'd like that you think have worked for anybody in the past or recently?
Well, the baseball team's a lot more high profile. What they had the fish a few years ago and that kind of thing. Golfers are as superstitious as any lot that's out there. I know even going back to when I played, I had to carry a quarter, a dime, and a nickel. It always had to be heads up. It had to be one of the quarters. The quarter had to be my birthday year. When it comes to, and if I wasn't making putts with it heads up, I flipped it to tails.
I put a different color line on my ball. Mm-hmm. Never wear the same shoes 2 days in a row.
Yeah, it's. We don't get a lot of exposure for that, but golfers are weird about that. I mean, we had one.
Y'all should meet Keenan.
Yeah. Keenan, I'm sure he's just an odd duck as it is. I mean, you should have seen his mullet. Do you see his mullet back in the spring? I wasn't going to tell. He was playing great. I wasn't going to tell him to cut it, but it looked terrible. And it's the same way with Sean. Sean had a goatee going, and then he comes out one morning with that mustache, and I'm like, "You look terrible." And so, "You look like Pablo Escobar, like his son or something." And he's had like 3 straight top 10s, hasn't he? He got his Canadian card, and I'm not going to tell him to shave it. It's hilarious to me, and so, yeah, we've always been. I mean, I'm pretty tough on the kids in some ways, but when it comes to superstitions, and if you can back it up, I mean, as long as it's within the boundaries of somewhat being acceptable, I guess I'm perfectly fine with it.
Well, I mean, 2 questions, but first, how fantastic is that mustache from your vantage point?
Yeah, it's kind of unbelievable. I think it's been going since January, so if you know Sean, it really just fits everything about him. It looks terrible, but that's Sean.
Obviously, you've had an incredible run over the past couple years, really the whole time you've been here. But just how, as you're looking back at it, to that same question I had, how special is it to continue to see the rise of the program?
Yeah, it's been a great run. I think when my freshman year, we were like not even top 100, and then we slowly worked our way up, and we were in top 5 most of the year last year, and I've been in the top 20, pretty much every year. So, just being able to improve the program with, Matt, Sean, I think guys older than me, Caleb, Murph, Dykes, just all those guys. We have a lot of memories and a lot of good times together that we'll cherish.
Bill, how likely or realistic do you think it is that one day you'll be leaving here to go to a regional in South Carolina, given the change in political climate in the state?
Oh yeah, well, it's the bids are out now for 2019. I met with Wood Creek the other day. The water damage they received back in October's still being assessed and everything. I mean, they're back open and all, and they've done a great job with getting the golf course back to where it's playable. But I think I would prefer to host. There's no bigger home course advantage than hosting a golf tournament. We went out to we were a number 1 seed last year, and we went out to Washington and played their home golf course, or one of their home courses. So where's the advantage in that? So thank goodness we've got the flag down now. We can look into doing that. I would hope we could host in 19, if not 19, certainly 20. But that's how far out things go. And I think I would prefer for it to be a tremendous advantage for us. And just like we're more than likely wherever we go here next week, wherever they tell us we're going, I'm pretty sure that host team's going to have a heck of an advantage.
Do you have a feel for whether is it a crowded field for schools that want to host? I mean, do you have a feel for? I mean, is it a bunch of other schools you're up against? Do you have a feel for that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I would imagine you're going to have. I haven't talked to all the coaches, but I would think you're going to have quite a few of the South Carolina teams trying to host, not just on the men's side, on the women's side as well. And there's only six bids out there, and they obviously have to be scattered geographically somewhat. So it's not just as easy as throwing it out there and getting it right away. I think it's a bit of a process. We might not get it the first year. But I'm excited about it. It's something that in my 10 years of being here, I've been very frustrated by 9 of the 10 years we've gone to regionals. And so I'm in a couple of times, like when we were at Oregon 2 years ago, they're ranked 40-something in the country, and they're hosting at their place as a 4 or 5 seed. And there was no doubt they were going to get through that week, right? So, yeah, that's something in our sport that you really, baseball earns the right to host, right? Okay, so we really in our sport need to evaluate how it's a big topic amongst us coaches. We all want to have the right to host be based on how we're playing and the merit of our season. We think that's the best way to reward it. The issue is having so many teams. Having to, if you did a bid based on performance and you broke it out to where, let's say you're giving a team an opportunity to host it in March. You're saying, okay, you're in that line that you could host. Now you got to throw together a golf tournament in a couple of months, and logistically, getting a golf course, getting a rules staff, getting hotels, getting the food worked out. There's some things like that would make it difficult. But I do think that based on how the system is now, I certainly hope by 2020 or so that we've got something in Columbia.
Well, to Brad's superstition question, and this may be even aside and just an added bonus, but where does Billy Macking fall into this?
Where did that start?
It started at a holiday. Goes way back to when I was like in college, and my aunt, I had a step aunt that was real serious about these pictures being perfect, and I started looking away just to frustrate her, and it's been going on for about 25 years in my life, and then so whenever I'm at a wedding or family event or whatever, I'm just I'm doing that. Well, I don't know how it got. was it at Wisconsin a couple years ago?
It might have, yeah.
We started doing it at Wisconsin. We won by like 30 or something at Wisconsin, and this lady was trying to take pictures of us, and we started looking away, and she just got frustrated and walked off.
She was so mad.
She literally just turned her back and was like, I'm done with this. Y'all won't even look at me. And we started laughing about it, and then it turned into hashtag Billy Macking, and it sort of took on its. This year's team hasn't done it as much, but God, we had a lot of fun with it last year.
I know you like doing the Billy Mac. I mean, y'all did what at the
we all-
Palmetto. Well, I was there for the one in Palmetto. I mean, y'all still did one there.
That's just our personality, really. Yeah, we win, but we don't take it too seriously, and we like to have fun, really. So it's just what we do.
Serious question. You know what you're getting at the top. Are you solidified with the consistency 1 through 5 in your lineup, or as you head into this regional?
Yeah, I am. I mean, we in the past last year we qualified for regionals. This year's team, I think, with the 3 seniors I have, and with Keenan, and we call him Smokey because he's a big Tennessee fan, Scott Stevens. He's just done an incredible job as a freshman. So Will Miles stepped in the middle of the spring and played some great golf for us. But I think these guys, with the combination of experience and the youth and firepower we have, I'm very pleased with the group we're taking to regionals.
I saw your face, Will. How do you be a Tennessee fan and play golf at South Carolina?
That's a great question. You should probably ask the coaches at Tennessee. Probably, yeah.
It's recruiting is. He just sometimes I didn't realize we tried to recruit Scott some early on, and then the word was he was going to stay in state, and then next thing you know, he's visiting with us, and then we had him down on the field for his official visit and for the Tennessee game, and they ran us over to the other side, to the visitor side on the sidelines there, and next thing you know, I turn around and he's kneeling down with Smokey taking pictures. He's got his arms around cheerleaders and Tennessee cheerleaders. I'm going, this is the craziest official visit I've ever. He's literally just so excited to be around the Tennessee crowd, and I'm like, you're Smokey from now on, man. I mean, he's putting on Twitter pictures with the dog and on his official visit to South Carolina. But I'd say he's all in now. He's a great kid. I strongly encourage y'all to get to know him as the next couple of years go along. He's very unique. Got some. I think he has narcolepsy. He's constantly asleep. Every time I turn around in the van to say, "Hey, Smokey," he's out. So we've got some great characters on our team, and that's another thing. These 3 seniors have really bought into the culture of. I mean, yeah, we're loose and we like to have a lot of fun, but we also work really hard and very competitive. And they've done a good job with the younger guys, making sure they're aware of that fine line, that combination of just how loose can you be and how hard is, hard work. I mean, what all that takes. So.
Sorry, another serious, non-serious question. Will, last year it was sushi at a gas station and barbecue. This year, what's the delicacy on the road?
That's a good question. We had the side of lobster tail again.
Yeah, that's a tradition.
Yeah,
at SEC's.
SECs.
Everybody
Everyone orders their meal and then gets a side of lobster tail.
Yeah.
Didn't really work, but
No.
we'll have to switch it. Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah.
We'll still have to change it up for regionals.
Yeah, we found Matt's pretty good at finding some
He loves Yelp. Yeah.
some interesting places to eat. Sushi in a gas station last year was in Bremerton, Washington. Was actually really
It
good.
was unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll find wherever we go. We'll find. I mean, the food in Albuquerque is unbelievable. I've been out there before. It'll be a big part of our trip. I can guarantee you that. Finding somewhere to eat that's unique.